In this video we're going to be looking over this Pentax ME Super SE 35mm film camera body equipped with the Prime SMC Pentax M 50mm f2 lens. And as far as I can tell, the only difference with the SE version is that the little center split image part in the focus screen has that split image at a diagonal, while the regular SE has it straight across. So that allows you to focus on either a horizontal or vertical line in your composition, which is a little bit nicer, but not a very big difference, at least that I can tell. I think that's all there is. So what we're going to do is just put this camera through some basic tests, hopefully demonstrating it almost as if you had it in your hands, and so you can assess its condition. I'm going to open up the back here and we're going to look here. Everything looks pretty good over here. We can see the shutter curtains are moving. The film advanced is working over here, so that's quite nice. If we look in the back of the door, I feel light seal residue here and along this edge, and there's enough of it there that I think those light seals should be replaced. And so I'm recommending that it get at least that kind of a level of service. Also, if we take the lens off, we can look right here. This foam that the mirror flips up against is in pretty poor condition, so that needs to be replaced as well. While we have this off, we can see the aperture follower here is nice and sprung properly, so that's good. If we look at the lens, now the focus is nice and smooth. One thing I noticed though is if you reach the end of the focus range, the ring will continue to turn, and if you pinch in with your fingers a little bit, then everything works just good. But if you don't pinch in hard enough and you come to an end, it will continue to turn. And that's just because this rubber is old and hard and it slips on the barrel. So be aware of that. The aperture ring has nice clicks. If we stop it way down to f22 and then work this little lever here, you can see the blades are nice and quick. I don't see any oil on the blades from front or back. I did notice though when I shined a bright LED flashlight in through the back of the lens, there does seem to be some haze and stuff down in there, and so I guess I don't see any big patches of fungus, but it is not as clean as it should be. So be aware of that as well. The lens mounts properly back onto the camera. And now what I thought we'd do is just step it down. Well, we'll put in some film. I've got a scrap roll of film right here. This is not included, but it's just here for testing purposes. And I should mention there are batteries in the camera as well. Also, they can just stay in there. I don't know how long they'll continue to run it, but they are right now. So we're going to put the little tail into the take-up spool there and start the film advance, making sure that it's engaging on the sprockets there, and close the door, and then can just take a few pictures here. We can see now the film is transporting because the film transport indicator wiggles a little bit when the film advance is worked, and the crank is turning also, so we'll just watch that again. There, both of those are indicating proper film transfer, and so it's recommending we do one more, and now the counter is showing picture number 1. So what I thought I'd do, let's first of all just test out the self timer. Okay, and so it's all cocked and ready to go, and let's just start that. Self-timer works, and now I have this in auto mode, So what I thought I'd do is just to check the metering here, I'm going to stop the lens way down, and I have the ASA, or as we'd know it more commonly today as ISO, at 12, which is a very low setting. And I thought what I would do is find a place right here where I can have this bright light shining right at the camera, and now we will let it automatically pick a shutter speed. Okay, and that was a pretty long duration. Now, without changing anything other than increasing that ASA value, we are going to do another one here. The lighting the same, and it should be much quicker. And it certainly was. So we can see that the metering is certainly responding to light. I can't say how accurate it is, but it is responding to light. And if we were to set this back on something maybe more common, like 200 is a common speed used today, and just let's set this at about f11, and we'll just watch in there with this bright light. Pretty fast shutter speed. Now if I just do the same thing, but I turn off this bright light pointing right into the camera, much slower. So the metering is responding to light here, and we can see that. So now I'm just going to pop off the rest of the pictures on this roll, and there we are at the end. So in order to rewind on this camera, there's a button we press on the bottom, and it's right here. And then it's a manual rewind with this crank over here. It was a short little roll. And open that up, and now the film is all wound back into the canister. One more look here. The door closes nicely. Nice metal rewind crank. And the lens cap, it's not a real tight fit, but it fits on there and will stay on. So it's a Pentax ME Super SE. I'm declaring it for parts are not working because it needs some basic service, replacing foam and stuff. But in general, it seems functional, and wanted to give this demonstration.